Andrew Tate just got what he deserves, and now it's time for Barron Trump to get the same. Now, this is fantastic news, but it is unsurprising to me given the two principles that we know about people like Donald Trump. Donald Trump and his family specifically always do the same two things, which is defend sex criminals. That's their favorite type of person. Epstein, the Epstein class, of course, Andrew Tate, but they also screw over anyone who ever works with them, for them, or around them. But it's not just the Trump family. It is people like Donald Trump, and Andrew Tate, the liar and sociopath that he is exactly like Donald Trump, which is why Trump, Tate, and Barron are all getting a taste of their own medicine. Now, before we get into how and the war that is going on between Trump, his youngest son, and the manosphere, we have to start with the context of how we all got here, and that's Barron becoming buddies with Andrew Tate.
Two proudly right-wing, self-proclaimed misogynists who become some of the most powerful influencers of the so-called manosphere. Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan were arrested in Miami on Saturday on the way to a bare-knuckle boxing event. You see them there in the purple. That's Andrew Tate. They're now awaiting possible extradition to England under what British authorities call pending ongoing legal proceedings. While the men were already both facing charges in England, which they deny, the Crown Prosecution Service announced the following, quote, Andrew Tate is being charged with 7 further counts of rape, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, 3 counts of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, and 19 additional charges for offenses relating to indecent images of a child and extreme pornography. Tristan Tate is being charged with 1 count of sexual assault, 2 counts of rape, and 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. The brothers have long denied all charges against them in every country investigating them. In a statement, their lawyer said, quote, the world knows Andrew and Tristan Tate are innocent. They have something of a storied legal history. Early last year, they were effectively kind of living in a kind of exile in Romania. They couldn't leave the country because they were under criminal prosecution. There was an investigation there into multiple allegations against the two men, including human trafficking, coercing women to pornography, and an allegation that Andrew had sex with a 15-year-old, beating her with a belt and choking her until she passed out. That's per the New York Times. The New Yorker reports that one 15-year-old told Romanian investigators that during sex, quote, even though I asked Andrew to stop, he continued. Again, both brothers deny any criminal activity at all. But as the New York Times also reports, the brothers had cultivated relationships with many people in Trump's inner circle, including his sons Barron and Don Jr., as well as Trump's former personal attorney, Alina Habba, and conservative media personalities like Tucker Carlson, who interviewed the brothers quite favorably. The Times reports that the Trump special envoy, Rick Grinnell, also in the Trump circle, even discussed the Tate's case with 2 Romanian officials in 2024 after Trump won, and then early 2025 as he was preparing to take office. Now, Grinnell denies having a substantive conversation about the tapes, though that would seem to indicate they did talk about it. For the Trump's part, neither Don Jr. nor the White House gave the Times comment on the Tate's relationship with Trump's oldest and youngest sons. The White House told the Times it is not involved in anything related to the Tate's legal matters. But here's the thing. The brothers started to get some good news not long after Trump won the 2024 election. They're sitting in Romania. They can't leave. Quote, I had word from the Trump admin that they're on top of things, Andrew Tate wrote to someone close to him in a message reviewed by the New York Times. I've been told I'll be free soon, but Trump needs to see me in Miami, he added. And sure enough, soon after, in February of 2025, the Romanian government, again, which had these sort of pending allegations against them, said, actually, they're free to go. They can leave the country. And immediately they did. In fact, they came to Florida. That's the same state, of course, where a Trump ally once granted a generous deal to another man accused of human trafficking, Jeffrey Epstein. President Trump says he knows nothing about the conditions of the Tate's travel ban in Romania being lifted. Alina Habba denied any role as well. But what happened was Trump got elected. They got let out of Romania. They came back.
So we know that the relationship is established. We know that Barron, lacking a father figure in his life of any consequence or someone who's not an asshole, because we know that Trump doesn't care about his children unless he wants to sleep with them, except for Tiffany, I guess. So that's got to hurt her self-esteem, but I don't really care. We know that Donald Trump doesn't really like his kids, so it seems that at least Barron has turned to loving somebody else, and that's Andrew Tate. He really looks up to that disgusting fucking human trafficker, that piece of shit that he is, because he says funny, disgusting things about women. So great sign of Barron's character as the young adult man that he is. But now things have flipped. Donald Trump isn't going out to help Andrew Tate. He's going to allow him to be extradited to the UK. And so now Andrew, he's not too happy with both Trump or Barron and he's threatening both of them. Barron's Butch buddy issues stark warning to Trump. The arrest of Manosphere influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate has raised concerns about the brothers' clout in right-wing political circles. Manosphere influencer Andrew Tate, who has been linked to Barron Trump and the president, issued a pointed call for Donald Trump to help him and his brother fight the sex trafficking charges they are facing. The attorney for the right-wing self-described misogynist, Andrew, 38, and Tristan, 39, warned Republicans of a mysterious reckoning if Trump fails to help the embattled brothers in their legal battle against the 59-year-old trafficking charges filed against them, or I should say that not the 59-year-old, the 59 charges filed against them by British authorities. The brothers, who have dual American and British citizenship, have denied any wrongdoing. Nobody believes them. They've been in Miami jail since July 18th when they were arrested on the new UK charges. The United Kingdom's Crown Prosecution Service is now seeking their extradition to the UK. Andrew Tate was a material participant in ensuring that Donald Trump's victory, the Tate's lawyer, Joseph McBride, told Vanity Fair in an article published Thursday. If Trump doesn't support him, and if the next people who are going to be running for office potentially are just like, yeah, down the river he goes, that young cohort of people will break with the Republican Party in the next election. He also added in a later Instagram post that New York Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez will be the next president without the Manosphere and Andrew Tate. Trump, 80, has not responded to the warning, but the White House spokesperson Carolyn Leavitt said no when asked by reporters if the president would help the Tates. The Tates fled to Fort Lauderdale, Florida last year from Romania, where they were living when Romanian prosecutors suddenly lifted travel restrictions that had been keeping them in the country amid criminal investigations. The Trump administration did nothing to block their entry into the U.S. or to hold them on outstanding overseas charges. Some reports have indicated that the administration may have pressured Romania officials to lift their travel restrictions. Of course they did. PBS and the New York Times has reported that Trump's 20-year-old son Barron has, of course, extensively talked with Andrew Tate on the phone. Andrew Tate was very strategic and shrewd in cultivating these alliances with people on the American right, including the Trump family, a Times reporter said. Barron Trump was reportedly, and has reportedly, been a fan of Andrew Tate, and they actually spoke by Zoom with a mutual friend who told me that they discussed the Romanian case, as we know, and Barron wanted to help out. So this is clearly kind of a shot across the bow by Andrew Tate's lawyer saying to Trump, hey, you're not going to have the support of the young men who are already abandoning you because of cost of living issues, housing issues, the war on Iran, Donald Trump's full allegiance to Israel and their genocide. And so there's that part of it, but it's also kind of a shot at Barron to say, well, you're not going to have your friends, if I could speak, in the manosphere anymore. Barron, we know you love these guys. You look up to them. All your idols are going to turn on you. You're not going to have access to the spaces that you like. I can't imagine Barron at NYU is like popular with anyone at NYU, although I'm sure there's Republicans at NYU. I don't know if NYU is cool anymore. NYU to me was never cool. Columbia grad, so sorry NYU people out there. Not to offend a little. It's a rivalry. I'm allowed to say that. Barron goes there, so at least fuck those NYU people. But yeah, this is clearly a shot across the bow at Barron. But also, as we just saw with Congresswoman Yasmin Ansari saying that she is going to be calling Barron to testify, that she will be subpoenaing Barron, and that there could be prosecution here, especially for the insider trading and the other crimes, because he's tied into this administration, and is also saying when you lose, you will have to face the consequences of having not helped us, which I think is funny. But this is exactly what Donald Trump would do as well. If you're not going to support me, if you're not going to back me, I will pull all my support. And it's interesting because throughout the Trump era, Trump has created a lot of Trumps, right? These cult of personality right-wing figures, these right-wing reactionaries who build up their following, who are willing to tear someone down and rip away their support and take their ball and go home. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, all doing this right now. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker, and Massey just took a photo together saying that they're starting a new political movement. So this is all coming together to say, Barron, you're going to be on your own. You're going to be lonely. Trump, you're going to lose your movement. You're going to lose the young people, and you're screwed because you're going to get prosecuted by President AOC. And also, Yasmin Ansari's made it clear, I'm going to hold you accountable.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. Barron Trump is an adult. He's a full-blown adult, and he is very influential in the Trump White House orbit. I mean, we know from from the first administration and from this administration that the Trump children play a very big role in the administration and policies that are passed. They benefit financially from the way the Trump administration operates and the self-dealing and the corruption that takes place. We know, very famously, Ivanka Trump also, who I think even as a grown woman gets the same kind of treatment, right? Because of her relationship with her father, and the way Donald Trump talks about her. I think there are a lot of parallels to be drawn with the, Donald Trump Ivanka relationship and the way he tries to, let her get away with her actions. It's the same with Barron and Melania. But Ivanka had a very big role in the first administration. Jared Kushner is still conducting foreign policy on behalf of the United States. Barron Trump has not only been influential in the campaign and connecting the campaign to the manosphere, which of course Andrew Tate is a major influencer in that space, but he also has is similar to his brothers undertaking in corruption, undertaking in investments and prediction markets and stock trading, that is to his own benefit while the administration takes away healthcare for millions of Americans. So we need to stop looking at them as though they're these like innocent, naive kids who, aren't part of any of this. They also choose the limelight. They choose to want to be involved with the campaigns. They choose to be involved with the administration. And therefore, if they are committing crimes or if they are engaging in activity that is against the law in any way, shape, or form, then they ultimately.
I have said about 1,000 times now that I was so pleased that the Congresswoman came out with what I called in our interview, just a very tone setting statement, just kind of stamping it. We're going to go after the Trump family. Because in any other, kind of political arena, I think that would be looked at as a bit of an unsavory move. But these people are criminals. Like Barron, if he was lobbying his father to get the Tates free to lift their travel restrictions so they could come to the U.S. and commit crime and harass and hurt people, then he's involved in the government and he should be held accountable like he is. He's clearly involved in the business. He was also the one who pushed Trump to get involved with crypto. So we know that Barron is part of the Trump crime family.